is right. We are taking you across America in search of some good news. Hey, everybody. My name is Chip Brewster. I'm a national digital host with Nexstar Media, and it's a great name of the show, but I feel like I need to change it to unique news instead of good news, because some of this stuff you might not put in the category of good per se, but it's always interesting and sometimes even educational, such as at least one of the stories in today's show. Let's talk about some of the stories that you'll get to see. One story, usually we have something about veterans being helped. This one's about veterans helping someone else. We'll take you to a non-traditional summer camp, learn about police using high tech in their high pressure situation trainings, a car and a family and baseball stadiums. And then that last piece of video, that's the one where I'm saying it might be a little educational. It is the animal story of this week. I try to get an animal story in there, but it's specifically about mosquitoes and how they choose their targets. So we're gonna learn a little something. And if you're someone who you feel like mosquitoes love your flavor, then stick around, because there's actually news that you can use in that story. And I'm telling you right now, it's at the very end of the show. So you got to wait till the last one. Before we get to all of that, though, we are going to start with a story from our station WNCN in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's all about a gentleman that took the cards he was dealt in life and did something with them and has really turned it into a way to leave a positive mark on others.
Today is a great day. Remain cheerful and optimistic.
Messages like this are sewn into every piece of ICANN clothing. For Kelsey Battle, it's also stitched into his life.
You can tie this back into this jacket. Right?
Battle graduated 71st High School in Fayetteville, reading at a second grade level. College wasn't an option, so he joined the Army.
I was 19 years old. I was on the second grade reading level. I graduated my high school diploma, and I could not read, write, or spell.
While overseas, Battle says he couldn't even fill out deployment papers. A first sergeant noticed, then changed his life by teaching him to read.
And I asked the first sergeant, I said, "Why did you help me?" He said, "I seen something in you."
Battle says he grew up with his mom battling drug addiction. Some days, there was no food, no lights, no running water. Those struggles became fuel.
I knew I didn't want to be there, so it propelled me.
In 1999, while still at Fort Bragg, Battle started printing ICANN t-shirts while working 3 jobs, saved every dollar to bet on a dream.
I knew I was going to get out of the Army. I didn't re-enlist. My wife asked me, "Did you re-enlist today?" I was like, "No." She said, "Why not?" I said, "God told me to start a t-shirt company." And she said, "How are we going to pay our bills?" And I said, "God told me don't worry about that."
Today, that t-shirt company is a multi-million-dollar business. ICANN is in Navy exchange stores around the world, with Army installations and Walmart expected to follow.
I'm physically in stores all over the world. Japan, Hawaii, Guam, Italy, Spain.
Battle and his wife have turned that success into service, opening transitional housing, foster care programs, and now with other ICANN branded items, including children's books and a YouTube channel.
My start is not my finish. There's no limits to what I can't do. Nothing can stop me.
In Fayetteville, Justin Moore, CBS 17 News.
Awesome story. Awesome story. Individual, right? The things that he overcame, and now he's using what he's gotten back in life to help others, and he's a veteran. So I guess we did have a story about a veteran being helped in a way, really helping himself, though props to that first sergeant out there. The next story, though, is the one that I was talking about, where we're going to see veterans helping someone else. And as you will learn very quickly in this story from our station WQRF in Rockford, Illinois, this woman would have literally lost her home if it weren't for this group of veterans who stepped in to basically do a little yard work.
Friday morning, Lynn Romanoff says she received a notice on her door, a potential eviction notice if she wasn't able to clean up her yard.
They put a notice on my door last Friday, and they gave me till Monday, meaning tomorrow, to get it all cleaned up.
And I imagine for you, you're thinking, like, how am I going to get this done?
Yeah, exactly.
Separately, Romanoff reached out to Operation Fallen Flags, a group of local veterans, to help put up a new flag in front of her home. They heard her story and her potential eviction and decided to help out.
I was thinking of all these people I could call or somebody else that I get involved. And then I thought, why not me? Why not my friends? And it was as simple as that.
Curtis Burrows and the other veterans called it Operation Green Glory. They worked all morning Sunday, cutting down weeds, grass, and branches, cleaning up whatever they could.
She touched my heart when we were talking with her. She really touched my heart because she doesn't have somebody around. So we thought we could do something for her.
A gesture Romanoff says is more than she could have ever asked for.
I don't know what to say. The people have been great.
Reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm MARICO, Holland.
And there's one detail in there I wish that we had heard, because we understand that she contacted that organization separately about putting up a flag. That's pretty cool, kind of patriotic. But where did it come up that she was about to be evicted? Was it, hey, I'm sorry, I've got to call you back and cancel this because of it? Was it when they showed up? Regardless of that detail, it's my one curiosity. Amazing to see that group of veterans step up and I'm sure also install the flag, the original reason that they were there. Next story from our station WDKY in Lexington, Kentucky, kind of continuing this theme of seeing people in need and giving them something that, you can be a gentleman who had a second grade reading level graduating high school and you figure out your life. You could be veterans who showed up to install a flag and cleared out a yard, or you can be a 6-year-old that goes to a nursing home and sees people who just need a little light in their life.
At just 6 years old, Audrey Howell has a big heart and a big goal.
6, 7, and 8.
She's hand-making more than 1,000 beaded flowers to create bouquets for every resident at Somerset Nursing and Rehabilitation. The idea began after Audrey visited her granddad at the facility. Her grandmother says Audrey couldn't help but notice the other residents.
Audrey would be very concerned and compassionate about the residents that were at the facility, and she wanted to do something to bring a little joy into their life.
Because some people are sad that they're there.
That simple idea has grown into a family project. Audrey and her relatives gather around the table for hours, stringing beads, shaping petals, and adding personal touches to make each bouquet special.
There are a lot of residents that have nobody to come and visit them. And for Audrey to want to do something special for those folks, it just warms my heart. And I couldn't be more proud to hold the title Granny.
The project, called From Audrey with Love, has also captured the heart of the community, pitching in with donations to help cover supplies and cost of the project. But for Audrey, the best part is still ahead.
I think they're going to be happy or excited.
And that's exactly what her grandmother is looking forward to as well.
I'm most looking forward to Audrey being able to give the residents their little bouquet of flowers, because I know it's gonna bring a smile to their face.
Audrey's goal is to make sure every resident at Somerset Nursing and Rehab gets a small reminder that somebody is thinking of them. And in the future, she hopes to spread even more smiles at other facilities.
By the way, adorable story. But one of the reasons that I say where these stories come from is not just so we can truly represent that this is an across American effort, but it's so that if any of these pique your interest, you know where to go to find out more information, right? You just search that station online, you'll find their website. So that one, like I said, from our Lexington, Kentucky station, if you're interested in more about From Audrey with Love. And if you're interested in more Good News Edition stories, then stick around because we've got more of them coming up after a quick break. See, that was quick. You're already back. Here we go. Let's keep this good news story train rolling. So this one coming to us from our station WSYR in Syracuse, New York. Perhaps you remember summer camp as a kid. There's so many kinds. Sleepaway camp where you're overnight. Scouts, boys or Girl Scouts going out and learning how to do scout things. Your kind of more traditional summer camp at the Park District where it's just games, going to the pool, having fun. Well, here is one put on by a company that is not only tech-minded, but future-minded because, in effect, they're helping to develop their next generation of workers.
From flying drones, building electronic circuits, soldering boards, programming robots, and so much more, the Micron Chip Camp gives 6th graders an early introduction to careers that could one day support Micron's growth in Central New York.
The camp is about learning about circuit boards and how they're used in daily life, I'm pretty sure.
It's so much fun, and I love this kind of stuff, and it's really unique camp.
Helping lead the activities, students from SUNY reconnect at OCC, a program giving adults 25 to 55 with no college degree a chance to get one in high-demand fields.
That's the transistor.
Like electromechanical technology, a perfect pathway to a job in the growing semiconductor field here.
We're going to connect it using the wires, okay? I love STEM, and I like that when I went to school, a long time ago, there was no STEM program, and I love that they get to get exposed to it at such a young age.
One of the most impressive stations that the students got to go to was the drone station, one of which is controlled by your demands. Land.
It's my first time zooming in onto something very far away from a device that doesn't have a human inside of it to operate.
All right. Exposing students to STEM at a young age while also having a blast.
Just try to have fun and make new friends.
Chipping away at science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing careers. At Onondaga Community College, Lindsay Peters, News Channel 9.
So they said that camp is for 6th graders. I'm wondering where the camp is for 30-something-year-olds who can go and learn about this stuff. And just in case your job is lost to a developing technology, you've got a backup. No actual reason why. Don't read too much into that one, if you don't mind. Let's just move on, shall we? Next story from our station, WAVY in Norfolk, Virginia. And it's kind of in the same vein of technology, but instead of the people developing it, it's those who are using it to train for real-life, high-pressure situations, which hopefully help them to make the best decision possible in that moment. Check this out.
This is VRTRA, and this is one way Newport News police officers train for stressful, real-life scenarios.
Take your hands on your pockets for me, please.
Just a split second. Sometimes that's how long an officer has to make a decision on whether or not to pull the trigger.
This is what police officers do on a day-to-day basis, whether it be in a domestic situation, or it could be a robbery, it could be a shooting.
Sergeant Wilbur O'Barry says the VRTRA simulator gives 300 degrees of immersion, equipping officers with the training they need to make informed decisions under pressure. They've had it for about a year. It helps them prepare for the decisions they could face in the line of duty, like knowing when the use of force is necessary.
It's been some time for me since I've been on patrol, so being able to put myself through this, going through those split-second decisions that I may not have been done in over a year. So it's beneficial for myself, for sure.
Newport News Police invited members of Hampton Roads Media to come test it out. We were placed inside the room with 5 massive screens, and we're faced with different scenarios. For me, I was in an office building that had potential threats. Some pointed guns and began shooting, and some didn't. But I pulled the trigger on a man who had whipped out a cell phone, showing just how difficult it can be to tell the difference between that and a weapon in a moment's notice.
We love to see you guys go through it to see what y'all's reactions are and decision-making that you guys make.
O'Barry says everyone from new recruits to officers who have been on the force for decades are able to utilize this technology to train. They also have the opportunity to face the same potential threat in different scenarios to help eliminate any bias when it comes to their policing. But VRTRA isn't the only technology they're using to better train officers, which we also got to try out.
We also have our headsets with Axon. It's a taser-based product. So we're able to do stuff with the taser systems here. Those do have handguns as well.
Now you can find much more about this story over on WAVY.com. In Newport News, Cheyenne Pagan, 10 on your side.
You know, I actually have a little anecdote about such a simulator system because I used to be an in-the-field reporter, and I remember doing a story much like that in one of those simulator systems, and I learned, assuming it works the same, The way that it would work is there would be someone sitting next to it, an operator who's listening to you and what commands you're giving to that virtual person. And then there's kind of a decision tree. So they could say, person reacts this way, person does that, person acquiesces, etc. So you could do that same simulation multiple times and get different results every time. So just a fascinating look behind the scenes, if you will, of how our law enforcement, one option anyway, how they can train for those types of real life situations. I've got a few more stories for you, but we do have to take one more quick break. On the other side of it, we're going to talk about some family passions involving a car and another one involving baseball stadiums. And then, yes, that mosquito story. Stick around. Love a good family coming together story, and I've got two of them for you. Should we talk baseball stadiums or CAMARO? We're going to talk both. Which one do we want to go first? I think we're going to go CAMARO first. All the car people out there are going to love this one. It's coming to us from our station WFXR in Roanoke, Virginia, and there's a lot of history here. Get ready for it. I'll tell you what, though, it does involve a CAMARO.
I'm Jessica Maldonado in Roanoke, Virginia, where one local woman made a rare find, one that carries nearly 6 decades of family history. This is the story of the 1967 Camaro, Sam, that made its way back into the life of Angie Webb.
When this car door opens, it doesn't just reveal the inside of a classic 1967 Camaro. It opens nearly 6 decades of family history. Angie Webb has called this car Sam since she was a little girl. And for as long as she can remember, Sam has always been a part of her family.
The car was always there. It was in background of pictures, just always in my life.
Her father bought the Camaro brand new in May of 1967. It was his first major purchase at just 24 years old. He kept every piece of paperwork, every manual.
My dad kept all of that.
And even 2 pennies from 1967 tucked into the ashtray. And over the next 44 years, this car witnessed a family's entire life.
My sons, they were all rode in it with their papa.
It was there for childhood adventures, including one terrifying moment when 3-year-old Angie accidentally knocked the car into gear and rolled down a steep hill, stopped only by a tree branch. It was there when her mother survived being hit by a slow-moving train in Salem and at the hospital afterward, where she discovered she was pregnant with Angie. Some families have photo albums. The Webbs had Sam. Then, in 2011, her father had to let Sam go.
When my dad had to sell it, it upset her too, because it's almost like part of the family is going away.
After her father passed away in 2014, Angie searched for the car for 11 years, sharing Facebook posts, stopping at cruise-ins, always hoping, but never finding it. Until this January, after losing her mother. While cleaning out her childhood home, she opened an old filing cabinet and found something no one knew still existed, the registration with the buyer's name.
I typed up a letter and explained, who I am and that I'm not a crazy person, that I'm simply just I'm a daughter that's just trying to find something that meant so much to her.
3 days after mailing the letter, the phone rang. On the other end, Clarence Smith, the man who had cared for Sam for the last 15 years.
I could see when she came out the door with tears in her eyes, something I got to do.
Clarence had preserved the Camaro almost exactly as Angie's father left it.
He would sit there and hold it like this because it won't stay anymore. It still smells the same. I associate that smell of that car, I associate my dad.
Today, Sam is back with the little girl who named him, back with the family who never stopped loving him, and somehow on what would have been her mother's birthday.
It might be a material object, but this is something that was my mom and dad, especially my dad. Something I wrote in as a baby, and I feel like that Sam kind of protected us.
Some treasures are passed down, others find their own way back.
I don't know. I'm not a car guy, but I get the feels from that story. And I've been told when I was a kid, I also put a car into gear and it rolled and crashed into something, a boathouse. Not a big deal, but, well, kind of a big deal. So also nice to know that That was apparently a thing for people of a certain age back when they were children climbing into cars. So if you loved that one, maybe it was for the car thing, maybe it was for the family element, you're probably going to love this next one as well. It's coming to us from our station WDAF in Kansas City, Missouri. And it's similarly about a family coming together over a shared passion that began when someone was young, but they carried it and they're about to complete it all together.
We're all chasing the 30th.
This map hangs in Keith Harkness's house in Canada. His family is chasing 30, traveling to all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums.
Last year we were in Miami, Texas, and Atlanta.
On Sunday, the Stadium Chasers hit Stadium 29 of 30, catching a Royals game at the K. Harkness says Royals staff hit it out of the park. The Harkness crew scored a game ball, shirts, and first game certificates.
Kauffman certainly has its character. I've always heard that the Midwest is really, heart of baseball, and people from the Midwest are so nice. We can see that for sure.
It all started about 30 years ago. Harkness and his wife would visit ballparks on holiday. After 20 years, the Stadium Chasers set a goal to hit all 30. Their children joined the team.
I don't remember it, but apparently when I was like 4 or 5 weeks old, I went to Denver.
Of the 29 ballparks he's been to, Camden calls 3 his favorites.
PNC Park in Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Oracle Park. Wrigley's really nice too. In a different way, it's kind of old and the neighborhood's nice.
The family tells me their favorite part about chasing 30 is seeing the different attractions at the cities they visit, including the National World War I Museum and Memorial.
One kind of side effect of this is that we've been able to see almost every North American city and all the attractions from their amusement parks to their museums.
Harkness says the kids pick up a new mini bat at each stadium. The Stadium Chasers plan to attend 2 more Royals games in Kansas City, then travel to finish this map. Next week, they'll go to a Cardinals game in St. Louis, rounding out their Chasing 30 goal. Reagan Porter, Fox 4, working for you.
So close. I look at these from the week that was, but I don't remember which date I pulled it from or the exact date. So they might have hit 30 by the time I'm recording this, and by the time you're watching it, more than likely they have. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Congrats, guys. Way to get to all 30. Time for that final story. Those of you that have stuck around because you're keenly interested in learning how a mosquito chooses its evening meal, this one is for you, and it comes to us from our station WJW in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, I get bitten.
Like ringing the dinner bell.
It itches really bad.
It's the worst.
Mosquitoes swarm some people as soon as they step outside.
I think they're trying to get me right now.
Feasting away.
They itch.
While others are ignored by the little bloodsuckers.
Like my dad, growing up, he never got bitten really. My brother never got bitten. I don't know. Maybe my blood is favorable to them.
Researchers say there's actually no strong evidence of a blood type linked to biting. However, new studies do pinpoint other factors.
This is the brain of the mosquito Aedes aegypti, or the yellow fever mosquito.
Case Western Reserve University Biology Department researcher and assistant professor Gabriella Wolf.
Here are the olfactory areas of the brain where they process different smells, like from chemicals in our skin or plants in the environment.
She says only females bite, and attraction is actually linked to our skin and breath.
Most humans have the same chemicals in our skin and our breath, but we might have them in different ratios, and one ratio is more attractive to mosquitoes.
Lactic acid when working out and higher metabolic rates in pregnant women also attract them. And she says they can learn.
If they get good quality blood and they don't get swatted at, they might seek out people or hosts with similar smells and chemicals.
Unfortunately, you really can't change your biochemistry. However, there are a few things you can do to make yourself less appetizing.
We've tried tiki torches, still end up getting bit.
Gabriella says DEET repellents are more effective, and natural oils like clove, cinnamon, and lemongrass. And if you are bitten,
run that mosquito bite under hottest water that you can stand, and that will actually denature the proteins in the saliva, and it will itch less.
Also avoid red, black, and cyan blue clothing, which can attract them, as well as drinking beer and eating bananas.
And that may be because we produce more ethanol or lactic acid.
while Gabriella and her team at CASE are working on incredible new frequency research, mimicking natural predators to repel mosquitoes.
And one thing we do in my lab is play different frequencies of sound, especially those that might be produced by dragonflies, and looking at the behavioral changes in mosquitoes when those sounds are present.
Hopefully, eventually protecting people from mosquitoes and any deadly viruses they might carry.
A big reason why I wanted to research mosquitoes is I'm one of those people at a barbecue that always has a cloud of mosquitoes around my ankles. So I'm pretty motivated to understand why they bite me and not other people.
She points out there are 3,500 mosquito species and most don't bite humans despite Hollywood depictions.
Think of the mosquitoes from Jumanji and the mosquito that you see in Jurassic Park. That's actually a Toxorhynchides mosquito, so that mosquito would never have bitten a dinosaur or really anything. They're really big, but they're actually vegetarians.
And barely scratching the surface on what these small bugs can teach us. In Cleveland, Suzanne Stratford, Fox 8 News.
I love all the information. I didn't like all of the mosquito video. I apologize for that. So we learned what not to wear, what not to eat. And my favorite factoid, hopefully you picked it up too, that she was like, yeah, Jurassic Park got it all wrong. That mosquito was a vegetarian. It would not have bitten a dinosaur. Just like, she is totally the right person for that job. And I'm so happy that we got to feature her here on Good News Edition. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in with me. We're going to keep it going, do it again next week, and see about the good news that was. Until then, I'm Chip Rooster. Take care, everybody.